The content on this channel is for educational and informational purposes only. Nothing we say or do should be considered advice. No tax, legal, accounting, investment, or any other kind of advice. Anything that you invest in is at your own risk. The buttons you press on your screen, you press them. I don't press them. Joseph doesn't press them. Do Kwon doesn't press them. We don't press them. We don't take any accountability for anything we do ever. I'm a totally unaccountable person. So do your own research and consult with professionals. Welcome back, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, very excited for today's show. Of course, you might recognize my ugly mug on your screen. We've got Joseph Casa intern down below, but we've got a new face here. Maybe you've seen him on a couple shows here in the past. We've got Jared from TFL. Jared, sir, how are you?
Hey, excellent. It's good to see you again, and I'm happy to be here.
Excellent. Well, we're very excited. Of course, today we're here to talk about last week's news, but I think it's, you're making ongoing improvements based on feedback from the community. We saw Terra Station, which I think, of all the things that we've seen kind of come out of Terra Luna and of TerraForm Labs, the user interface, the experience, the smoothness, even the little animation of the satellite spinning around whenever you send transactions or load the wallet, all that stuff, people really enjoyed using in the ecosystem. And I think that now that we're sort of pushing the boundaries of what this can do and moving it into different ecosystems around Cosmos, I'm excited to see what possibilities are opened up because of that. So first question, I want to start off very broadly, if you don't mind, Jared. And, I've done some AMAs with Warp. I've done AMAs with Enterprise, and I always kind of lead off with this question, but, what exactly, in your opinion, is the positioning now of TFL and of the TFL spinouts and all the tools that you guys are building? What is sort of the new thesis for Terra Luna now that we're moving forward, and UST unfortunately has been dead and gone for 8 months now? What are we looking at for the future of TFL, and what's your main focus and strategy?
Yeah. So to start off with that, so I'm the engineering manager at TerraForm Labs, which is a people management position. So I don't write a whole lot of code. I'm really a shitty coder. I learn every day, and so just like to put a lens on the perspective there, I spend all day moving people around and moving projects around and making sure that different features are being coordinated, or if there's a roadblock that's being cleared. that we have the right resources, both like technology and human wise. So like that's the perspective that I can provide color for. Maybe not like something flashy like a business development perspective or that kind of thing. I'm just not as good there. So just with that like lens in mind, what we are focusing on uh, in engineering is the ability to support a multitude of chains within and outside of the cosmos. We have restructured our teams following. So like we can go back through to May. So like we had a large organization then, 120 people or so, and we've cut that down to about 36. So it's a much more focused organization. This is about the number we had when we launched, say, like Columbus 5 and Mirror and Anchor. And that sort of focus provides for us an environment where we're able to create synergies between everything that we're creating at once. Although sometimes there may be, I don't know, like you may want something done faster. You may want more people so that there are more things happening asynchronously. But in the end, we create more synergistic products. So what we're focusing on daily are Alliance and Station in this specific area, or in engineering specifically. In the apps portion of engineering, they're focusing in on Warp and Enterprise, and then upcoming, I don't know if they've announced, but another application in the next month or so. Does that answer that? Do you want me to answer that in a broader sense? Like, where does TFL see? Where do we see our positioning as an organization supporting interchain, or how could I answer that in a different way?
I guess I have some questions specific on your engineering team, because, like, I mean, after the crash and after everything that happened with Terra, I'm sure that your entire engineering team had to bottom down, reconsider the priorities moving forward.
Mm.
Um, right now, is all 36 of your team members just working towards different types of variations of products in this mission to kind of spread Terra throughout, or just kind of interconnect all the blockchains throughout the industry, essentially?
Yeah, for sure. I think it helps to understand that TFL is a really, really flat organization. So like my position is more like, I don't know, like a scrum manager, or like someone who reads assignments out and like just kind of make sure everyone remembers what they're up to for the day.
Yeah.
Um, there's no like there's no really direct force from the top. It's not a top heavy organization where we're like, dude, today we like you're doing this, or like GTFO. So at any point in time, there could be a multitude of things that our engineers are working on, that are either directly or tangentially related to a core product. Um, and we see a lot of like really cool ideas come out of this. So like even though the apps team is focusing on their applications on their own realm, they take time to look through Station and tell us from their perspective, hey, on the developer experience, we'd really like to see these features, and this is kind of how we would see them playing out, or like how we think we would implement them. Let us know if you want some help, or if someone on the team wants to do that. And then on the Station side, they're able to either pick that up or say, no, I don't like that, or move forward in the way that they see fit.
Yeah, and I'd like to kind of, I guess, put that into the perspective of Station, and your guys' decision to make it cross chain. And I think, I see some comments already, people asking about Alliance, which I teased on Twitter. We are going to potentially dive into a little sneak peek. So we're happy to get to that. But first, I do want to talk about Station and sort of the decision to go cross chain and allow people to import wallets from Osmosis or from other chains in the Cosmos. How did you come to that decision, and what do you think are sort of the benefits of that? And then moving forward, what's, as you bring on more chains, and feel free to list which chains are integrated already and which ones are in the future. How do you see that impacting sort of Luna and the broader Cosmos? Long question there. Sorry, it's a mouthful.
This is what I'm into. This is what I'm here for. Okay, so let's take like a really, really broad view. So the total market cap of crypto is about 1 trillion right now, We can compare this to about 40.5 trillion as the combined market cap of the US stock market alone. It's small, right? This is small compared to like mainstream finance, and that's all of crypto. However, between the ages of 18 and 29, about 32% of people have bought cryptocurrency at some point. So how did they do this? Right? I remember when like Bitcoin was first coming out, and my buddy was like, "Hey man, I'm gonna buy this gaming desktop and mine some Bitcoin." And I was like, "I'm gonna buy beer this weekend because that sounds like a scam." Uh, and I obviously missed out on that. I should have been mining Bitcoin since like week one. And it's been slow, right? So this, I think that was like 2009 or something like that, 2009, 2010, when he got into it. And it's taken me obviously a lot of years to catch up. More and more people in that age range are catching up and are seeing the importance of cryptographic technologies related to financial management. And the question is where they're going to go to do this. So it's no longer where I'm going to have to go and buy some specialized desktop to mine Bitcoin to participate in the network, right? We have a variety of UIs and a variety of things that are bringing this to the forefront of even really novice users. And we want that. Like, in order for us to move that 1 trillion to overtake the traditional financial markets, we're going to have to adopt users who are not currently crypto native. Like, we just have to onboard new users. The experience that those users go through is going to have to be more akin to the experience that they have right now using something like Cash App or Venmo. We can't be like, if you think of the blockchains as maybe like individual banking institutions or like individual nations that have their own currencies underlying, maybe that's a little bit better. When you go and you buy something online to Amazon or wherever, they aren't like, well, like, dude, you're really going to need to convert this over because you just aren't using the right currency right now. Like, contact a bank over in England or contact a bank over in Taiwan, like, because we're not going to accept this currency. Like, Amazon figures it out. Like, they accept what you're going to pay them. And so we need to do the same for crypto. And this is where Station is going to really shine in the long term. In the long term, we aim to create a crypto experience which is so enticing that it's going to replace all other experiences in wealth management. And to me, this includes traditional banking. A major component of this goal is abstraction. So we're going to need to abstract the user from all of the guts of using crypto. This experience is particularly difficult in the cross-chain. It's even difficult sometimes for crypto natives. Like, I don't know, someone wanted me to interact with something on BSC last week, and I was just like, I don't have the time. I'm not going to figure out how to interact with BSC this week. Like, maybe next week, but like, I'm not. And we can't have that experience for average users. Like, if I don't want to do it, like, we can't have that universalized. So to this end, our focus in the first quarter of this year, so like to bring that all down to what we're doing right now, we're focused on our web app extension in desktop and mobile. So we've launched web extension in desktop with interchain support, and we'll be launching mobile in, well, depending on when we can finish it in the next month, maybe month and a half. We have another mobile designer or another mobile engineer starting on Monday. So I'll probably have like a hard timeline for mobile within the next 2 weeks. The body of work is similar, although a little bit different. And what we're doing with it is going to begin creating a larger divergence between the two applications. So at the moment, your desktop application actually builds off of the web application. So you could think of it as like a custom Chrome browser that sits on your desktop.
Yeah.
The mobile app is not going to function in that way as we diverge. We think that the use case for what you do with mobile is probably different than what you're going to do on your desktop. And so the experience in web and desktop may, although continue to be simplified, still include perhaps some more advanced features that are easier to access. As we move more towards that like Cash App and Venmo type of like one click to here to there UI, us native users are still going to want that granular control. And we may come to like desktop or web to do that just because the expansive list of things that we'll have to manage, I think is a little bit overwhelming for a mobile interface. So that's Q1 and leading into Q2. In Q2, we should be able to, or we should be wrapping up a lot of the Cosmos integrations. At a minimum, by process, we should be wrapping that up. Like the process should be, 5-10 minute process. We've got it down to about 15 minutes right now. So we should be able to get that down to maybe like a 5-minute integration. And then we should be able to move into chains outside of the Cosmos first.
All right, Evan, do you care if I get into a little bit of a question here? I kind of builds on that.
Sure, go ahead.
My question here is going to kind of come from the developer's perspective, and I find it really interesting that you bring up the fact that you guys are trying to go outside of the Cosmos ecosystem. For the longest time in Cosmos, ICS is it called ICS, interchain security? Yeah, that interchain security module is basically the standard, or interchain standard is basically what allows all the different types of Cosmos chains to communicate. It allows for that interoperability and all that componentry there. And essentially what Alliance is doing is kind of introducing a new module standard on top of like the Cosmos stack. From a builder perspective, some people might take this as Terra is trying to change that like building experience and trying to replace that part of the stack of the Cosmos ecosystem. Do you guys see it that way, or do you guys see this kind of an involvement of the Cosmos stack?
Yeah, I don't think we see it in any maliciously competitive way. It's just that we needed to do certain things, and so we built something that would do that.
All right, sick.
I want to talk a bit about when you launched last week. If you could just let us know which chains have been integrated already, and then what's on the roadmap, in the near term for integrating new chains. You said it's fairly easy to start bringing more online. And then I have a question about a very specific ecosystem and sort of the background story on that one.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let me bring up current chain integrations. Okay, so right now integrated in one way or another. So there's a small caveat where sometimes the LCDs provided to us, the infrastructure provided for the backend of station by these chains, if they encounter issues, we have to take them out. So if it doesn't function, we can't have it. But these have at least been integrated in some way. Mars, Juno, Luna Classic, Osmosis, SEI, Kujira, Carbon, Hua Hua, and Crescent. Then going down, who has been contacted? It's everybody. Like name your pick. We got I think
you got Canto on there. Is Canto on there? Canto blockchain by any chance?
Canto. It is not in my search. Tell them to contact me. We'll put them in.
All right. That's I'll have a live stream where I'm going to Canto pill the vast majority of our audience. So that's coming. I'm excited for that one. Who is interesting. What's going on over there? I didn't even know that they were developing until yesterday, honestly.
I'm not sure, and I think that my knowledge of what each individual chain is up to will only nosedive from here as we have more and more.
But that's like kind of the nature of the tech. You guys want every chain to come in here, regardless of what they're trying to build. You want them to be able to interoperate, which is pretty interesting from a building perspective.
Yes, absolutely.
I want to bring up one chain specifically that maybe you do have a little bit more knowledge about, and that's our good friends over at Luna Classic. Mm-hmm. I know that there's been chatter, and shout out to Coach Bruce for his whole merge narrative, whether that's total bullshit or not. I think it's interesting to see kind of that community that at one point wasn't very happy with Luna, wasn't very happy with TFL, but now it seems like they've come around, and they seem pretty excited that they've been included in the upgrades to station. So Jared, can you just kind of give like a brief history of how you've interacted with them and supported Luna Classic with station and now with Interchain Station?
Yeah, so I've been at TFL since Columbus 4, and I was validating starting on Columbus 3. So I've got a long history, like personally, with that chain. And I can say, like, as a start to interacting between between at least like myself and that community, there was a period in time where we like TFL was like not allowed to say stuff. Um, so I know that that period was at best confusing. I think we can at least say that. Um, but I mean, we built it. Like, it's really hard to say that there's no passion for something that you've built. I don't think anyone at TFL is like, I don't know, screw that chain forever. It's like, it's maybe a bit saddening for some, or maybe they don't want to deal with it directly. Everyone grieves in different ways. But the bottom line is that like we built it. Like we were in the trenches there from the start. Um, and so bringing it like way forward into station support recently for interchain, there we honestly didn't think people were going to keep using Luna Classic when we started Phoenix. That just wasn't a consideration we had. So we kept the same Mesh 32 address. The Phoenix chain was meant to be a rebirth of Terra, and that's what we did. We didn't really consider that there would be any long-term implications of some of those decisions. More that we needed to build somewhere where people were able to continue building their smart contracts, continue building their communities, that developers were able to continue building on a platform on a layer one that was no longer broken. And so we delivered that product, Phoenix, the Phoenix blockchain. And I think probably the one of the larger unintended consequences, at least for that community at the moment, is that the BISH32 addresses remain the same. So they both have a prefix of Terra, and in the interchain implementation of Station, we associate the movement of interchain funds via that prefix first. The kind of numbers that follow that are determined by your derivation path, but that prefix is going to remain the same for whatever chain it's in. So we're using that to identify, we want to send from here to here. And as we obfuscate pieces from the user of that interface, it's going to become more important that we don't mix up any transactions. So that was our first issue. And so we explored a little bit in fixing that. And it's just a problem no one's fixed yet. So it's a little bit intense doing a chain upgrade and changing that prefix. There are a lot of things that break when you do that, and so it just became untenable for the class community to do. And then as we made more and more and more changes to the way that we organized the back end of Station, we came to a realization. Was something I had suggested at the start, but it just wasn't feasible because of the way that we had things laid out. But we took another look a couple days before launch, and actually PFC helped me form a plan on it. And we were like, hey, I think we can make this as a chain archetype. It's a little messy as far as it isn't the exact same functionality that the rest of the program has. It's more like running maybe, it's exactly like running mainnet or testnet. So there's mainnet, classic, and testnet now. Mm-hmm. So it requires kind of its own repo structure and a little bit of maintenance in order to interact in the same ways that the rest of the application does, just like it would on testnet. If you had a token list on testnet, it may not line up exactly with the token list on mainnet. But what it does is it provides access to the application to all the same users who were using it before, with their same private keys. So if you've lost a mnemonic, you don't have to, worry about losing your funds. You won't be able to access perhaps some of the wider functions of Station, but you can always switch to another wallet where you do manage interchain functions and just use the one that you have for classic only. So there are options for the user now, instead of just saying, hey, you can't use this at all. Sorry, good luck.
Right. Joseph, do you have any more comments on Station and that before we we get to what everybody's anxiously waiting for, which is the Alliance preview.
I mean, I guess Station. I'm just excited to see all the different chains rolling out over the next like 1 to 2 months. How many chains do you expect there to be live and interactable from Station?
Yeah, so I'm hoping that we breach that 20 number of Cosmos chains. We are working through a couple performance issues right now with the way that we're batching our LCD queries.
Mhm.
And some of the chains are facing some issues with their own LCDs being unable to handle the quantity of queries that we're providing. So essentially, as long as we solve for this issue, which we will, there's just a little bit of back and forth on how we're going to do it. So like we could run info for every chain that we interact with, and that would be incredibly expensive for a free application. Um, so so once we figure it out internally, like what path we want to head
Yeah.
down, it won't be an issue to support as many as needed. But I would personally like to see in the next 2 months about 20 chains.
Wow. And if there's like anyone from an interested chain watching the live stream right now, how would you recommend them reaching out and like getting started with the process?
Yeah, so it's actually public on our station assets repo. So like if you just go to terra.money, the GitHub there, and just kind of like search station assets, there's a repo there that you can start an issues form and do it that way. I've also got a UI that's a little nice. There's like it creates it for you. You just fill out like the equivalent of a Google form. So if there are any like chain founders or that kind of thing, just let me know. It's Jared _TFL. That's the Telegram handle. Hit me up anywhere. It's the same on Twitter, and we'll start a chat. You can do it without contacting us. Inevitably, you're going to want to talk to us. Like there will be something that goes wrong, and you're going to want to make sure your chain is supported. So like
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying please contact me first, so that we have that open line,
Yeah.
and we'll solve things quickly for you instead of having to say I don't know what's going on here. You filled this out totally wrong and just reject it. We just like to make sure you're onboarded.
Yeah. All right. I think that was kind of my final questions. I'm ready to go on to some alpha leaks only.
All right, well, hold on. Let's make them continue to hold their breath because we do have one question here from Ape Depto TV, who's an avid fan of the show. They said, "When dashboard on new station?" Jared, when dashboard?
Yeah, so we removed the dashboard intentionally for one simplification. We wanted less things in station and those fewer things to be done better. So I would consider that like either Q2 or Q3 thing. I don't want to compromise on the dashboard. Like if we're going to bring it back, then what I want to do is include that as part of the developer experience. So these are items that aren't in the backlog, perhaps on the roadmap, but not like in our board that we're looking at every day to solve. So if you look at something like Rainbow Wallet's developer kit, you're able to like just download in one line like a deployment of that as a widget or as an extension. It's super simple. We're going to get there. And as part of that, I would like to include a development kit for this dashboard. So whatever items we use ultimately there, say you have like, I don't know, some token balances or like a chart that you like, I've got on my phone, like the top 5 coins I want on a dashboard right when I open it. You want these sorts of things. We'll package them into a widget, into a little module, so that the user is able to move them around and customize their dashboard. But the interesting part of that from the developer side is that we'll also provide one-liners for those. So you're developing an application, in particular, if you're developing, say, an MVP or something where you don't want to take all the time it's going to take to figure out the API that you want to pull this chart from and like this and that. You're just like, hey, that looks pretty cool in station. I would like to show that I'm going to do that. Or if you just want to use it in that way, you want to say, hey, if you're using station, here's your dashboard up here. You can just import the whole dashboard into your application, so that the user experience can become a little bit more unified between the dApps and the wallet.
Excellent. want to address then, let's get into it here. Looks like Choco Sabe. Sorry if I'm totally butchering that name. Scroll up a little bit, Steph. It's up a little higher.
No, you said that right. Good job.
Oh, okay. Said more details on Alliance, please. Teams out there are looking at ICS and Alliance, and some need to start making decisions soon. So more info would be great. So I guess this is the opportunity for us to. This is a debutante ball of Alliance, although it might not be that exciting. But at least some more info so that these teams that are looking into it can maybe make some decisions.
Yeah. So if you want to bring my screen up, I'm ready for you.
You're gonna
have to share it, Jared.
Yeah.
Okay. You got
on your end, beneath the bars of our screen, you'll see like a share screen. It's right next to your webcam button, and then you can select which screen. And then once it's shared, Steph will be able to pull it up.
I see. Okay. Oh, it's hidden from everyone until then.
Hold on, Steph.
Perfect.
Give him a second to hide the URL.
There you go. You're good to go.
Okay.
So in the upcoming weeks, probably in the next 2. So to give some background, what I'm showing you right now is called Game of Alliance. It's something we released internally today. So I just got my hands on this a couple hours ago. The team has been working for months to come to this point where we can provide a UI on top of Alliance so that people are able to really understand before any main chain adoption. And this is kind of what we're looking at. So with the understanding that this is an internal beta that we're going to change pretty drastically by the time it comes to mainnet. In particular, this bit here, this staking bit, it's actually going to live inside of Station. So this will be a lot simpler. What's going to take place? Again, about 2 weeks ish. We got to work out the bugs on our side. You'll be able to participate in something called the Game of Alliance. We're going to spin up a bunch of testnet chains. So these are the ones we have at the moment for our internal tests. We just got these 2, and you'll be able to interact with their particular tokens. Come in here and delegate. Oh, why not? Can I gotta fix this sucker? Delegate a certain amount to whatever alliance you're interested in participating in. And sweet, yeah, I do have the 1,000 to node 1. You'll be able to participate and kind of switch in between the different networks. And the goal is going to be to have the most like token value at the end. So this APR will change kind of dramatically throughout the course of the simulation to both test the module, stress test it, see how far we can go low and high, how many nodes we can have, how many connected networks can we have, just really trying to break this sucker. And that'll dramatically change the APR by chain and by staked asset. So the goal is to move your assets around different chains and come out on top. This is going to take place over the course of about 4 weeks on testnet. So we're about 6 weeks from the ending of this, right? 2 weeks from the start, and then there'll be 4 weeks of the game. Maybe I'll pause there.
Sure. So what does this mean, I guess, for either like existing chains or new chains that want to spin up that don't have a ton of liquidity? Like at a high level, what is Alliance doing for them?
Yeah. So Alliance, you could consider it an improved staking module. So any Cosmos chain that you're able to stake on, you'll also have the ability to stake a different asset natively. So in the case of I just keep using Phoenix and Osmosis, if both chains had implemented, or if we want to go back to Classic, if both Phoenix and Columbus had Alliance integrated on both chains, through governance parameters, you can set another native denom. So you could say, all right, yeah, I'm on Phoenix, but I would like to stake Osmosis. You can stake that right on Phoenix, and receive rewards for both tokens at the rate set with the Alliance module. So what will happen when that takes place? So say you're staking Osmosis on Phoenix, is that will then stake Osmosis on the Osmosis chain, put that into an LSD, and transfer the funds back to you. So the different ways that these alliances are set up will kind of create a unique landscape throughout the cosmos, where chains will now be able to have this like shared security. I think in the minds of a lot of the folks in the classic community, these mergers of chains, where the asset is no longer sacred in the same way that it was before, where it only has functionality on the single originating chain as a native staking asset. You'll be able to kind of farm yields throughout the different chains, and keep your capital on whichever chain you decide is appropriate for you.
Will you be able to access other forms of liquidity, like liquidity incentives other than just staking? Will you be able to do LP pairs and all that stuff?
It is. That's not part of Alliance.
It's not part of Alliance. Does that mean there's something else that you guys are exploring to build that will let you conveniently cross participate in liquidity providing?
Yeah, I don't see why not. So going way back to like the start of our conversation, where TFL is a very flat organization, and the different teams are able to have a lot of interoperability. I believe the apps team is going to have some interesting things that are built on top of Alliance, which will make it rather attractive for you to choose Phoenix as the chain where you're going to actually stake your Cosmos assets.
Interesting. Okay. As a yield farmer, I'm interested. You've already got my interest peaked here. I'm a yield guy. I see that 74 million % APR. That's
Yeah.
some juicy yield right there. I'm excited.
Yeah. I mean, we're breaking this right now, but yes. we've done our best to make it as wild as possible for internal testing. Yeah, more to come. I think maybe give Vlad like 2 months.
So I think we've got some interesting questions coming in from the audience. Sorry, Evan, didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, I was going to say the same thing. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Joseph.
go for it. Oh, okay.
Go
So
ahead.
Choco Sabi's coming in here, coming in with a question: how would block production be affected, or this is purely for economic security? Kind of a little bit more in depth about what this is really doing on the chains.
Would you mind just closing my screen? Yeah, and I'll join back in. So it shouldn't have any effect on block production. It's not that type of upgrade.
Alliance Erizitro has come into the chat right now and just said Alliance is for economic growth and an economic alliance between chains. Block production will not be affected. So essentially, yeah, I hope that answers your question, Choco Sabi.
We have P. Doring. Will there be an Alliance token?
So Alliance isn't a chain; it's an upgrade to existing chains or an addition to a new chain. So no, I don't think that makes sense from what the product is. What could be interesting instead is that some new chains that are launching with it. I think you would be able to acquire tokens for those chains, and the way that they're integrated may have some interesting implications for the way that you do cross-chain staking. So like, let's say a chain launches and 100% of its genesis is airdropped to its 4 or 5 partner chains. So all of the liquidity for that chain is actually external to its economy. In order for that chain to be secured, they would need to, say put a bunch into a pool that stakes and then emits or burns over a period of time those original assets. So maybe you drop 90% of the supply external, 10% of it is used for Genesis staking, which degrades over time. That could be a very interesting implementation to see if those funds come back to the native chain.
Joseph, I see you've got some screen sleuthing going on. Feel free to fire away.
This is the screen sleuthing is going to be for the flip side inside of the week, so I want to keep it for that. We did some governance analysis throughout the Cosmos, so I'm ready to go for that conversation. But I hope we can focus on what's going on with Alliance for now.
Well, we can keep Jared here for the flip side inside of the week if it's Cosmos, because we can if he wants to.
Let's go for it.
It's up to you, Jared, if you want to stick around and
We'll
talk
hold you
more
ransom.
Cosmos. Yeah,
I'm sure.
But
my belongs to you guys.
We've got if anyone else in the comments has any more questions on either Alliance or Station, feel free to fire away. We didn't really show like Station. I don't know if Jared, if you want to do that, if that's necessary, or if you just want to kind of highlight like some of the main differences, maybe that would be worthwhile.
Yeah, sure. For that, I'm good to share the whole thing. You guys can have full access to the cluttered dashboard of an engineer at TFL. So let's start with this. Let's start with upcoming features. So shortly we should be able to improve this swapping strategy. So in the beginning, I spoke about the desire to overtake the desire to overtake a lot of different functions. One of these functions is the functions of exchanges. We'll be able to put limit orders in a station really whenever we're done with this design and settle in on something that we like. Also coming shortly are on-ramps and off-ramps. Cato is committed to doing on-ramps and off-ramps for any of the upcoming Feather chains that we launch, and working with any other Cosmos chains that are supported in Station. So that's an exciting feature coming. We'll also implement a strategy section where you'll be able to do at first just DCAs. Then I'd like to add spot grids and smart rebalances in as well. So a little bit more robust portfolio management coming into this swap and bridge area. Well, then let me just walk you through what we have in limit orders here. So we have the from chain, the from token, and the to chain and the to token. So, this could all be the same. You could be doing Terra Luna, but you just want to place a limit order. Or you could say, hey, I want to use my actual USDC on Terra to buy Osmo on Osmosis. That type of limit order will also go through. And you can kind of see.
This is awesome. This is like a bridge and like an order book all in one. I've not seen anything like this before.
I think it's pretty revolutionary. I'm actually really excited about this.
This is
okay.
great.
So from a high level, what can a person do? What's all the things that you can do? I mean, obviously you can swap and bridge, but what else is there?
So I'll just finish up these. So for the pairs you choose, we'll import in just a chart of what that pair looks like for the period of time selected. And then here in your orders, you'll be able to see any like outstanding limit orders that you have, or cancel those orders.
This is fucking sweet. I'm glad I asked you to bring this up.
I'm sorry I bored you for 45 minutes.
That's boring at all. This is sick.
Wait, so just a couple questions then. Where's the chart coming from? Let's just say you're like you're going from Terra to like Osmosis, and you're using whatever. Like where are you importing the chart data from?
Yeah, so at the moment we've got some backends from TFM that we plan on using. But what's going on there in that chart is we're reading what the two assets are, where they are, and then importing the correlating data into, I believe it is TradingView. So we're using those two sections, those two data points, and then combining the chart with TradingView on the front end.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've seen a lot of the dexes. I think even like some of the centralized exchanges are starting to just import trading view charts. Um,
Yeah.
so and then you mentioned TFM, and big shout out to them. They've done a great job of kind of aggregating all of the places that you can set orders. Is that going to be the main sort of engine behind the swaps as well as sort of TFM and their ability to kind of search for the best price depending on which dex is available?
Yeah, and just for like flavor for people who maybe haven't paid attention through the life cycle of station or are new to it, I think we've gone through like 5 or 6 of these providers. I really love working with the TFM team. I just want to like they're solid. But there's no like we aren't so tied into any one aggregator that it's going to affect like the performance to a critical level. Like we're always going to look for backups. Very likely a station catches on, and we already have more offers than I can keep track of for aggregators. It's just that no one's doing as good of a job as TFM, frankly. They're interested in aggregating, say, one chain at a time or something. And it's like, well, TFM will do them all. So when you can compete at that level, let me know. But we're always looking. Like there should be multiple options in the upcoming years for you to use different aggregators if you really hate TFM for some reason. Again, I think they did an excellent job.
This is excellent. Couple questions it looks like coming out, and we're sorry for us. Well, Jared, before we go to questions because they're a bit scattered, anything else specifically you want to show regarding these new dashboards?
Yeah. So I think a really interesting board here. Oh no, that's our Game of Alliance board. Is our mobile board. I know not a lot of people have gotten a close look at it. So let me know if there's anything you want to see specifically. But I really, really love how we're going to handle swaps there. So understanding that this isn't an exact order, it's all of the different pages you could go to from these different links. I'll kind of walk you through what this looks like. So you choose a chain you're going to originate on. You're going to swap an asset from certain asset to certain asset. Okay, it's going to confirm that with you. On the second function, you're going to be able to choose what your destination chain is. And it'll bring up kind of this custom keyboard for you to enter in the quantity. Once you've put this all together, it'll give you the summary page of where you're going, what you're swapping, allow you to say reverse it. And at that last moment, maybe you chose the wrong order. You confirm it, and it's going to print out this nice little receipt for your transaction. I just think that's fun.
Yeah, this is beautiful. It's very clean, very nice. Looks intuitive. Kind of to go back to what you were talking about at the top of the show here with just making it easy and accessible, and the click of a button. And now it's like you don't even have to leave your application to do all the things that as a normie you might expect to come in and do. Right? You don't have to go and mess around with connecting your wallet to a third party or whatever. So I think this is excellent.
One of the things I've found really frustrating, one, I do not like our current deployment of mobile. So like I've spent a lot of time here. I hated the menu. And so we've put the menu here. And maybe Wallet has Wallet has a little bit better function of it. So that now it kind of lives next to your thumb and you're able to access this on any page.
That's nice.
Very nice. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Question from Rick Savage. Great name, Rick Savage. Talking about Ledger integration.
Mm-hmm.
How do we feel about that?
Yeah, so we had a year and a half of silence from Ledger where they weren't merging any of our updates. And that was painful. That silence has been broken. And for the last 2 weeks, we've been working with them on an update, which we submitted 2 days ago and is currently in review. So there should be an just deluge of updates that Ledger users have desired in the upcoming, hopefully, week, maybe 2, depending on Ledger's review process, including like, I don't know, I got one here, including like, when you pop this sucker open, it's got the symbols and stuff here. So including new like art, like
Right.
it should be massively improved for us because we've been waiting a year and a half for these updates.
Right. Another question here from Cynthia Henley, sister of Don Henley from the Eagles Hotel, California. When can we expect chain upgrade proposal for Alliance and Feather last week of January, exclamation point, exclamation point. When can we expect beta mainnet, question mark, February, all caps? And Cynthia asked this question 4 times, so we had to address it.
So we're not in strict control of that. I would suggest that the community follow this series of events. So like, let us get through this internal testing so that we can provide you a UI that is acceptable. Like I did not like using it this morning. Let me get you to a point where it's like a pleasure to use it and like interact with Alliance, so that the average user can engage with it. If we can't get to that point, then we're going to have a lot of issues. Then participate in the testnet. So participate in February, probably lean into a little bit of March, depending on when that time frame goes. But participate in the 4 weeks of testnet, provide feedback, and try and break it. Just do weird shit, like whatever the weirdest stuff you can think to do with this thing. Like try to use it the way you're not supposed to use it. I have no clue. Like just go wild. If we,
our audience will have no trouble doing weird shit.
And once we feel very confident on that battle testing, it's like we tested internally. We've got I don't even know, like DevOps hates us. Like we spin up networks every day. So like there's just a ton of new chains that never go anywhere. But we need to do it in the wild. Following that, like wait until the end of that and engage frankly with the community and the community leaders that you think would be good ambassadors of this project. If we technically on the technical side of things, you aren't going to be able to implement this with with less than a week's lead time. So it has to be a software upgrade proposal. There has to be a 7-day voting period, where every stakeholder of Phoenix will have a say in whether or not we're going to include this. Follow-up maintenance will also fall to the chain. So if you want a certain token and it's not in the parameters, you're going to have to campaign for that to be a function. We also might consider as a community how we're going to spend our community pool. So like, are we going to spend our community pool in entering some of these alliances? Is that something that we're interested in doing? Not sure. But these are kind of the open questions that we should engage in. Once we've hit a point as a community, which I know a lot of us are already there, but not everyone is there. Once we've reached the point where we all want Alliance, we have to go through the software upgrade proposal, and I wouldn't rush that. I would provide at least 2 or 3 weeks from that initial phase so that everyone is prepared. All the validators know when it's happening. We're able to run. They're able to run the binaries before they come out and make sure there's no risks involved on their side, that they know what they're doing. This is just like standard, by the way. This isn't just Alliance. This is just how we should handle software upgrades. We just shouldn't like rush them. So I would say, like, if you're really itching for it, to be patient and to engage, and a realistic timeline, if everyone's on the same page, is probably sometime in March or April. As a quick timeline. If not everyone is engaged, maybe a little bit longer than that.
Excellent, Jared. We appreciate all the insights, all the little previews. Alliance looks great. The new modules you got on station there look great. I'm going to shamelessly plug Obi quickly, just because I think we'll get an audience here. We also, what we've been working on, Peter and I, is an alternative to seed phrases and to ledgers altogether, where whenever you onboard into any wallet, we're not trying to really compete with wallets. We're more trying to integrate with them. Instead of using a seed phrase, you basically break off keys into different factors. So one is a device key, one is an SMS key, one's a cloud key. We even have NFC devices now that we've been working on. So a passport or a credit card or something like that. So that's going to be an integration for Station. Jared, we've talked about that behind the scenes. So
Ooh.
anybody that's using Station, look forward to that as sort of an alternative to onboarding with a seed phrase, which we think is kind of old, broken UX seed phrase anyway. And so more in the same vein of trying to make it easier for normies and very familiar sign up flow to Web 2, but it's self custody, it's easy, it's secure, it's convenient. So gonna have to just plug Obi there, and keep your eyes open for an integration as we work on that. A couple more comments. Maniac says, when merge happens every day, man. It's going on right now. You're missing out. LCS says, cool Luna outfits to you, Jared. So big shout out to you and your wardrobe. Aaron Zetro says, when Pete. I was actually just with Pete yesterday and we recorded some stuff. So we'll be pushing that out on the channel soon. All right. Well, Jared, we appreciate you coming on, sir. If you don't mind, I'm going to have Joseph do some Flipside Insights of the Week. You don't have to stick around for it, but that's awesome. Anybody that wants to keep up with you, it's at Jared_TFL. Is that correct on Twitter? Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jared. We're going to kick you out then so you can go and work away on that Figma screen. Make sure those charts that you're importing from TradingView look nice and sharp, and we'll move on with our lives. But thank you so much, sir. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you for coming, Jared.
Thank you.
All right, Joseph, what do you think?
I'm really excited. I think that there's going to be a lot of conversation throughout the Cosmos just talking about that replacement of the standard. I guess I'm not personally that clear that it's not replacing the standard. So I definitely think, and I agree with Jared, that it's going to take some time for the community to hash out when this upgrade goes in place and actual Feather gets deployed and all that. Because it is going to impact the Cosmos eco. And a lot of people are probably going to take, I mean, like, you already see it. A lot of people think that this is competing with the ICS module. So there's going to be a lot of conversation around that, a lot of education that's going to need to happen. So I'm really excited to just see that happen, because I think Cosmos is the most active eco. And I have some great data insights to talk about how it is the most active ecosystem.
All right, well, let's dive into that. As you bring that up, I just want to comment really quickly as we talk about the flip side insight of the week. We need like a sick like radio voice that comes up like a bumper or something. But I think Terra and Luna, like, we were the problem child of the Cosmos ecosystem, and I think we still are in many ways. And so maybe we don't want to publicly say that we're competing on any front, but reality is what it is. So we'll see what happens. I just know a lot of people aren't necessarily in love with the current wallet interface options available across the Cosmos ecosystem. So I'll just leave that at that and won't say anything more to get myself in any more trouble. But
I mean,
Joseph,
I agree. The wallet experience is not the best. I'm excited for Obi. You guys are 4 days late on the beta link. I don't know, where's that beta link at? Is Pete actually working on it? Is he deving away?
All right, let's see this crypto Flipside insight of the week. Joseph, bring it up.
All right. Did my mic get cut? All right. Can you hear me?
No, I'm just ignoring you.
You're just ignoring me about that?
Yes.
All right, but no beta link to the Obi wallet just yet. But regardless, let's dig into a little bit what's going on in the osmosis ecosystem, or just in throughout the Cosmos. We did a little bit of a deep dive talking about governance and how governance is actually acting throughout both Terra, Osmosis, and Cosmos themselves. For the longest time, everyone has basically been saying that Osmosis is by far one of the most active governance chains, and we actually get to see that. Cosmos and Osmosis, however, are very closely competing in terms of actual proposal numbers that are going through and their voter totals. If you dig into a little bit more of the transactional data, you have over 200,000 total voters participating on Cosmos and Osmosis, with Terra actually starting to pick up just recently, dating back in July. So I'm excited to see Terra start heating up. Terra's got a long way to go to actually start catching up to the other chains in terms of governance participation. But I mean, it's to be expected when you have such a cataclysmic event on a chain happen and occur. But regardless of that, we actually get to dig in a little bit deeper into the proposals. And as you can see here, Terra is actually starting to crop up and do some more of the proposals. Osmosis has a much higher volume compared to the Cosmos Cosmos ecosystem and even Terra themselves. And it makes sense. Osmosis is a very managed chain, especially when it goes through often and infrequent changes because of the nature of the protocol. It is an AMM. It is the DEX liquidity for the Cosmos ecosystem. So there's just a lot of proposals that are actively going on for all those different pools. So yeah, that's what we kind of dug into over at Flipside. Voters are more engaged on Osmosis, but you can also argue that Cosmos probably just has a wider user base. If you dig into here, you can see that the vast majority of Osmosis users are actually voters, compared to Cosmos users who are, it's kind of like a little bit of a more than 50% of people are actually voting on Cosmos. But you can tell that Osmosis is just intimately managed by everyone who's actively using the platform. So really interesting to be seeing that. Can't wait to see more governance activity kicking up on Terra so we can actually see how participating the Lunk community is out there. And I think with apps like the station, it's going to start improving this across the ecosystems. People actually will be able to see what's going on in governance and intimately interact with them from one convenient place, hopefully. So that'll be interesting to see develop. But yeah, if anyone's interested to dig in a little bit deeper onto this data, I will drop the link to this dashboard in the live stream chat.
Yeah, and I think just to speak a little bit to what Jared was saying when he was here is once we see Alliance go live, there is going to be a lot more governance. I mean, the governance we've seen on Terra for the last, I don't even know how long. I mean, since the chain upgrade and since like emergency allocation, I don't even know if that was voted on. It's been like just community pool grant requests, and they come at a rate of about once a week.
Yeah,
So there's
very
not a
slow.
whole lot relative to I'm sure what's happening in Osmosis to sort of participate in. But once we see some of these like core features of the network start to vie for where we're placing liquidity and incentives and things like that, I think we'll start to see a lot more voting activity. But it's cool to see sort of that breakdown and see how Osmosis. I mean, they've got some good governance participation.
Yeah, it just shows, it goes to show, when people are actually care about a protocol at like the bare minimum level and they're actively using it, the Osmosis has found a way to capture those users and actually keep them retained in the governance, even through the bear market. I mean, you can tell that when stuff was getting a little bit shaky this year, it did take a dip in participation. But it's kind of astounding to see that even within months of just complete boredom and complete market domination, they can keep more than 60% of their chain actively governing. That's just impressive.
It's like I don't even. What is the turnout of people that vote in like presidential elections? Isn't it like less than 50% of the country?
Yeah,
Or is it
it's
like
less than,
60%
yeah.
maybe? Yeah.
Yeah, it's significantly small, and it gets smaller the older you get, basically.
Right.
So yeah,
All right. Excellent. Well,
yeah,
Joseph,
that's it. That's it on my end. No more data.
no more data. All right. No more data. Everybody, hope you enjoyed this show. I hope you enjoyed the sneak peek we got of Alliance. Big shout out to Jared and TFL. Looking forward to seeing some of those upgrades for the for Station as well. This is what is the show called, Joseph?
This is Cosmos Bytes, live
This is
from the universe.
Cosmos Bites, and we are going to be live, hopefully, every single Thursday at 12 p.m. So if you want to come in and you want to learn, if you want to come in and you want to talk shit in the comments, you could do anything. Come on in. We'll read your mean comments live on air. If you have nothing better to do, feel free. But we're going to be more consistent, and we're going to be talking about everything going on in the Cosmos. We already have hopefully some guests lined up for next week as well. So every Thursday at 12 p.m., we will be live right here on this channel. Thank you, everybody, for viewing, and we will see you next week.